think sometimes people don't want to make casseroles because they grew up in the age of the cream of mushroom or cream of chicken soup recipes. Just a lot of things in a casserole that you're like, well, they all taste the same at the end. And none of us really like those ingredients that much anymore because you find there's a lot of garbage in them. But casseroles don't have to be that way. There are some amazing casseroles that taste good, that have great ingredients and are so good for you. And you don't have to use all of the cream of soups to make them. Today we're gonna make this barbecue chicken with sweet potatoes. If you're not a fan of sweet potatoes, just sub out and use regular potatoes. But the first thing that I need to do, it's a little earlier in the day today and I just wanna start getting things prepped and ready to go. So I'm gonna cook up my sweet potatoes so that they can be nice and done and then they can sit out and cool while we prep other ingredients. So personally, when I make sweet potatoes, I wrap them in foil to cook them. Comment down below and tell me if you also do this. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's just the way that I always saw my mom make potatoes, and so that's why I do it. But I don't think you have to. I think that you can just throw them on a baking sheet, poke a couple holes in them, and they're gonna bake. I don't know, maybe it's super wasteful, but comment down below if you were also raised making them this way, and so you continue. So just wrap in foil, I'm gonna throw it on a baking sheet. Ooh, that is a large sweet potato, which it's fine. It's gonna be the base of our casserole. I'm gonna use 4. Actually, there's 5 in the bag. When am I ever gonna need just 1 sweet potato? So let's just go ahead and make all 5. Worst case scenario, we don't use it all in this casserole, and I'll use it for something else. I usually make my sweet potatoes in the oven on 425 degrees or so. It probably takes 45 minutes. They do take a bit to cook. Yeah, just throw those in there, let them cook up, and then we'll move on for the rest of the recipe in a bit. Okay, for the chicken part of this recipe, I was actually thinking about doing this in my crock pot and then time is getting away from me. So I'm gonna make this in this pot right here, and I need shredded chicken ultimately. So in the crock pot, this turns out really nice if you have all day and you just want to let it sit, but I'm gonna just boil it and then it will shred up really nice. Another option would be a rotisserie chicken if that's your thing. I've got a few chicken thighs already cooked in the fridge, so we may end up using those. I might also just eat them for lunch today. We'll see how that goes. So you just add some water to the pot. You literally just boil the chicken and then it will shred up really nicely. This is one of those things where if I knew I was gonna be using shredded chicken a couple of times during a week, I would probably make a whole chicken in my crock pot or my Instant Pot and make sure that we have enough shredded chicken for the whole week because that's so easy to do in there. Another thing you could do is make multiple chicken breasts just like this, and then you have shredded chicken for the week for multiple recipes. So make things easier on yourself. Look ahead at the week and what you're having and try and prep ahead some of those things. So if you need shredded chicken, for instance, you're not making it 3 different times in the week. Let's continue on with this casserole. The potatoes are cooked and mostly cooled. If you don't want to bake your sweet potatoes, if you'd rather, you can peel off the skins, cube them, and boil them. It's just a preference thing. I just thought this is gonna be really easy for me to throw this in the oven and not really have to think about it while I'm working on other things because I got a lot going on in my kitchen today. So we're just gonna peel back the skins. It's still pretty hot actually. And it's been cooling for like an hour and a half. All right, getting off all the skins, and then we're just gonna take it and I'm gonna put it into my mixing bowl here because I'm just gonna mix it in here, but you can mix it in a regular bowl. It doesn't have to be in a bowl like this or in your mixer. You can honestly probably mix it by hand. It's right here, I might as well use it. This recipe is Whole30 approved. And actually I have a funny story about Whole30. I'm not against Whole30. Let me just say that to begin with. My husband and I did Whole30 together a couple of years ago. And the concept behind Whole30 is you are, you know, eliminating, you're trying to go 30 days to eliminate things like sugar cravings. So my husband and I did Whole30 a few years ago. I stuck to it 100%. I'm talking like I did everything that you're supposed to do in Whole30. My husband did not. He stuck to it, you know, like as closely as possible, but he was still going to work, and sometimes he would take his lunch, but he wouldn't always. He would just make better choices when he would go out to eat and things. He lost something like, it was like in between 18 and 22 pounds or something like that. I lost two pounds in 30 days, giving up dairy. It felt like all carbohydrates, basically. Tons of things, giving up so much stuff. I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is ridiculous. You know, it's just men and women's bodies, so different. However, I will say there were some things that I learned on Whole30 that we definitely incorporate more into our lives now. Just a different, like, meals don't always have to include cheese, for instance. You can have a really good meal without that, and some substitutes that we learned along the way too. So good things came out of it, but 2 pounds in 30 days, basically eating only chicken and vegetables. It wasn't for me. So my body definitely works better just counting macros like I've been doing for several years now. All right, we've got 4 sweet potatoes in here. I am going to add some butter. If you are making a Whole30 version of this, you can use ghee instead. I think I have ghee. Let me just look. Okay, well, at one point I had ghee. I just don't know where it is now. So we're gonna use butter. I'm gonna add, let's do like 3 tablespoons. We're gonna make it 2 because in my refrigerator, that's how much was left out of the stick of butter. So 2 tablespoons it is. Like I said, I'm just gonna use my KitchenAid mixer to basically mash these potatoes. And then we're gonna use it again for the chicken, actually. While that's going, I'm just gonna spray my casserole dish. Oh, all right, this one's done. Okay, I'll get it everywhere. Now, I honestly think that this would be fine in an 8x8 or a 9x9 dish, but I like this casserole dish and it's pretty, so we're gonna go with that one. Take the sweet potatoes. So honestly, if you don't wanna make this into a casserole, you could make sweet potatoes, make barbecue chicken, and put the barbecue chicken on top of the sweet potatoes, and you would be done. But we're just making something a little different tonight because, you know, sometimes you gotta change things up. Even though it might be the same flavors, it tricks your brain into thinking, okay, this is something different than, you know, what we have 3 nights a week. We'll just spread them out here at the bottom of the dish. We've got butter in there, we've got the sweet potatoes. If you want this to be Whole30 approved, then use that ghee instead of butter. I'm gonna use this same bowl because it's all gonna go in the same casserole. And I've got my 2 chicken breasts here that we're gonna put in there. If you guys are not shredding chicken using your mixer, you're missing out because it is fast and convenient. Okay, I also have these chicken thighs that are left over from dinner last night. Just toss those in there too. We're gonna just shred this up first. Then I'm gonna add my other ingredients. I use my paddle attachment and it'll shred it right up for you. All right, friends, we are adding in some barbecue sauce to the chicken that I shredded. So I'm gonna start with a 1/2 cup of barbecue sauce. If I don't feel like that's enough, I'll add more, but we're also gonna drizzle on the top. So I wanna make sure we reserve plenty for that. But I did add those extra, I'm gonna add a little bit more. I did add those extra chicken thighs in there, so it's a little more meat than maybe what the recipe calls for. Also, I did make my own barbecue sauce, and I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I know I haven't shared the barbecue sauce recipe with you guys yet, but it's because I still feel like I'm perfecting it, and as soon as it's ready, as soon as I feel like, yep, that's the one, then I will definitely share it. It's one of those things where, like, we don't eat barbecue sauce all that often, and so if I'm only making it every so often and it lasts for a little bit, then it's like, okay, I'm making it once every 3 months, so that's why it takes forever. But I will link one in the description box that I think is a really, really good option. Okay, let's mix in that barbecue sauce into that chicken. Oh, it needs more. No. That's not gonna fly. I want a good amount. I want it to be nice and saucy. And then we'll just leave a little bit for drizzling over the top. Okay. That's better. Okay, next, I've got 4 pieces of bacon here. straight in. There's a couple things you could do here as far as adding things. I think green pepper, sauteed green pepper, or just adding in some green pepper would be really good. I think that you could add black beans. Now that's going to change the overall, whether you might not be doing Whole30, but it's going to change whether or not it works for Whole30 if you add some other stuff in. But I do think that that would be really good. Now we're going to spread it all over the top here, which is kind of hard to do because it clumps together here a little bit. It actually might be easier just to use my tongs, but this is how we're doing it tonight, okay? My hands are clean. Everything's clean here. Just want to get it spread out. Ooh, somebody's getting lucky with that piece of bacon. All right, y'all, as I'm doing this, we are gearing up for school. We actually spent, I mean, by the time you guys see this, we probably already have started school. But we spent yesterday getting the homeschool room kind of like reset, ready for the year. If you were here last year, I actually completely redid our homeschool room and painted, added shelving, we got new desks, we did everything. So this year it didn't require very much work, but it was more like going in there, making sure all of our proper books are set out, like the books that we're using for the year, put away stuff that we still hadn't put away from last year and over the summer. We did a few things over the summer as far as school goes. So anyway, I'm gonna try and film at least portions of our first school day for a members only video. So if you'd like to see a little bit of what a typical school day looks like for us, then I'll have that video live hopefully in a couple of days. All right, take that barbecue sauce and we're just gonna go all over the top. I'm gonna use all the rest of this. Now I'm not quite ready to bake this. It is 4:43. The kids are outside playing with friends. It's actually been a beautiful day here. It's quite overcast, but it's not raining. And the weather has been so nice. My husband and I got to go on a walk this morning and it wasn't even humid or anything. This actually doesn't take very long in the oven either. So I'm gonna wait on baking this. So we'll set this to the side. But one thing I do want to do is make some pickled red onion. Lately, I have been loving pickled red onion. I don't know what it is. It's like my go-to thing. My go-to thing right now is, and this has been for months. I shared it on my Instagram story probably 3 months ago. It's an arugula salad. So it's literally arugula, a little tiny bit of avocado oil, some Italian seasoning and salt, goat cheese and beets. And it is so good. So good. But I have been lately adding pickled onion to it and it's a game changer. Actually, we're making that for dinner tonight to go with dinner because I love it that much. But let's make some pickled red onion to go with it too. They don't take very long, which is really nice and convenient. My mom and my mother-in-law and I all have the same storage containers. So we mark them, or they mark them. And sometimes we have little pieces of leftover tape. All right, so to make this recipe, I'm gonna put about a cup of white vinegar into this microwave safe, fridge safe, everything safe container. Let's add about a cup of water. Most recipes will say that you need about 1/4 cup of sugar. I don't really feel like that's necessary. I usually do like just 2 to 3 teaspoons. I just don't think it needs more than that, but it's totally up to you. And then let's add some, where's my salt? Oh, there it is. We need salt. About a tablespoon of salt. Now, I'm gonna heat this up in the microwave so that the sugar and everything dissolves. You could do that on the stovetop if you wanted, but I'm just gonna do it in the microwave just to keep it real easy. And then next is my knife clean. Haha, it is. Let's start slicing the red onion to go in there. I also always at least cut them in half, but it's usually more like 4s. I just want it to be smaller pieces, but you can leave them bigger if that's your preference. Okay, this is nice and hot, so we're just gonna stir so that everything just combines. I'll let it cool for just a minute or so, and then I'll put those onions in the brine. Oh, something else I like to add. I like to pop in a couple of garlic cloves too, because it just adds to the brine. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a couple minutes to just sit here and cool off a bit. Then we'll add those in, and they don't take very long at all. These are pretty quick. I mean, obviously the longer that you let them sit in there, the more that they'll pickle, but yeah, I'm just gonna throw them in there and they should be ready by the time dinner's ready. They turn this nice, vibrant pink color. While I'm waiting to make this casserole, I'm gonna clean up the kitchen so when I come back, it should look a lot better. All right, friends, let's bake this at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes, just until the top gets nice and golden brown. So we're gonna make my favorite salad. It's a hyperfixation thing at this point. It's going on my tombstone with me if I continue along this path, because it's gonna be like, beloved wife and mother loved an arugula salad. I'm every single day. I'm gonna turn into arugula at this point. So I just take a little bit of arugula, which I have a backup one, because you know, I can't run out, because then what will I eat? Put a little bit in a bowl like this. Did I show you this the other day? I might have. We're gonna toss some onto the counter, because that's what we do. Don't think the kids care for this like I do, but I'm not offended. I take a little bit of the avocado spray, which I believe this is a new one. Just a light spray. That's it. That's all you need. Then I take some of this Italian seasoning grinder, which we got this at Sam's Club, and I wasn't quite sure how much I would use it. We won't be without this in our house again because I use it every day. Okay, add some of that, just like so. Just a small dash of salt, just a small dash, okay? Now, take goat cheese. You can use feta if you're not a fan of goat cheese. And you just crumble it, which you can buy it crumbled, but if you buy a goat cheese log at Sam's Club, it's about 1/8 of the price if you get it in your grocery store. So this entire log of goat cheese, which is a full pound of goat cheese, is like $7.98 or something. It's crazy cheap at Sam's Club. So we put some goat cheese on here, and then I've already got some roasted beets. More, let's add in these beets, just like so. Might as well finish this one off. And then I hit it with another touch of the Italian seasoning grinder. And then on mine, I like to add some of these pickled red onions that we just made. I like the balance of flavors that this has. So good. It's such a quick salad. I always just have the ingredients prepped and ready to go because I eat it so often. There we go. Salad is ready for dinner, and we're just waiting on the casserole to be ready. Okay, now to make this look extra nice, I'm gonna put some cilantro all over the top. If you don't like cilantro, that's fine. Either skip this, maybe add some parsley or some thyme would be really good too. I do feel like these flavors work really well with cilantro though. And now I'm not gonna add this to everyone's, but I am gonna add in or add on some pickled red onion. And actually, I think it would look pretty if it was chopped. My daughter and I will both eat this though. You might eat some.
Dad, have you fixed my computer? Yeah, did you see? Power was on.
All right, let's serve this up. We've heated up plates because that's what we do. So try it. Never made this before actually.
Yeah. Wait, is this chicken or pork?
Chicken.
Mmm.
That's good.
Well, there's bacon bits in there.
There's bacon in there,
Mm-hmm.
which definitely adds to it.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about this.
Yeah.
This is a Whole30 recipe.
Really?
So I was telling him our story about Whole30 and how you,
Yeah.
what did you lose?
I think it was like 18 pounds.
Yeah, it was a lot. And 30 days, 2 pounds. But we did eat some really good recipes during it. And I think this is another, like you already know what to expect from these flavors, but putting it in a casserole form just kind of changes it up a little bit. I think I would want a little more barbecue sauce. You're not a huge barbecue fan.
I'm not. Like I plan on dousing mine in Cholula.
That makes sense. I still might add more of the pickled onion because I really, really like that flavor. I'm
not going to have the pickled onion, though I would someday maybe, but I do think that would add a good flavor to that.
And then there was another recipe that we made recently that had a crema that went on the top. I'll have it linked right here. It was a sheet pan recipe. It had tons of summer veggies and sausage in it, but the crema that went on the top just like, I mean, wow, completely took it over the top. I would consider making this recipe, now it would not make it Whole30, but I would consider making this recipe and then also making that crema because that would be so good with this.
That would be really good on this.
Really, really good. And it's all really fresh flavors too. So yeah, this one's good. I mean, great for a casserole with no cream of soups, no cheese.
Oh, wow.
Actually, there's no dairy in it at all. Except, well, is butter dairy? I guess kind of, yeah. But yeah, it's a good one. Friends, tonight we are gonna make a dinner that is so easy. It is minimal ingredients. And I don't know about you guys, but we love Italian sausage here. So I'm always looking for different ways to be able to use an Italian sausage because I feel like it's spaghetti or just in hoagie rolls or something like that, but not tonight. We're gonna make it a little bit different, okay? And actually, I'm gonna start out by making up the marinara sauce that we're gonna be using. Now, you can just buy your favorite marinara. Do not feel like you need to make yours like I'm doing. This is just so easy to do, and so regularly I go about it this way. And because I wanna save dishes, I make it right here in the can. Okay, so I'm adding some Italian seasoning here. This is an Italian seasoning grinder that I picked up at Sam's Club. That's probably a half teaspoon. We'll do the same to the other. So we're just using, this would make like a full jar of marinara if you were buying it. If you have a favorite one, just buy it, skip this step, and move forward with everything else. But we always have these ingredients on hand, so it's just as easy for me to make it. All right, add in some garlic powder, about a half teaspoon to each one, and some onion powder. Again, about a half teaspoon. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add some minced garlic to each one as well, just because we like garlic a lot. But you can skip this if you just wanna use the garlic powder, that's totally fine. You can add vinegar, but I actually like to add just a touch of sugar. I know there are a lot of you, so this is about a half teaspoon. I know there are a lot of you that don't do sugar at all, and that is completely fine. And then, oh, salt, just a touch of salt. So now, let's do about a half teaspoon of that as well. If you are not making your marinara homemade like I'm doing, well, semi-homemade, it's not completely homemade. If you're not doing it this way, this is one ingredient, okay? Just a jar. Super easy to just pick up. Oh, I usually add Worcestershire. I do think that just a touch of Worcestershire is really good in here. It adds like almost like a smokiness to it or something. I don't know, we really like it. So just a little bit, stir that together, and then we'll set this to the side. I actually need to go ahead and get out my pan that we're gonna make this in. This is a pretty different, cool, unique recipe that I'm gonna enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna use an actual 9x13. I was gonna use an 8x8, but I just wanna make sure we have plenty of room. Okay, just give it a spray. Now I'm gonna take some of that marinara and pour at the bottom here, okay? Just like so. That's about a little more than half of that, and set that to the side. Now, my green and red peppers need to be used like yesterday, so we're gonna do our best with these. This is your second ingredient if you are buying your marinara. And I'm just gonna cut into strips. Now there are multiple ways that you can serve this. You could serve this in rolls, like hoagie rolls, if you wanna do it that way, because you're gonna have the peppers, you're gonna have the Italian sausage, all that. But we are gonna serve ours differently. I'm actually gonna make some pasta that goes with ours tonight. So if you're keto or you are watching carbs or something like that, then you probably will do this differently than I am. But the base recipe that we're making, that the majority of this video is focusing on, it's 100% keto friendly or low carb friendly. You know what's not friendly is how long I let this green pepper go before using it. But I do like to, I hate when produce goes bad, so I will do my very best to look in the fridge and pick something that needs to be used. Okay, now let's do the same with the red pepper, which also really needs to be used. Onion is another thing that you could add to this too. I've got my Italian sausage here. So we're gonna take each one and you're gonna make a little slit. This is probably better if I just lay it down. Make a slit into each one. Okay, so that you're basically creating somewhat of a boat, like so, all right? Like so, boat, lay it on the top there. Definitely glad I used the 9x13. That would not have been enough to use the 8x8. Okay, I've got all my boats here. Looking good, let me wash up. Get yourself a mozzarella cheese, okay? So whatever kind of mozzarella you like, a fresh mozzarella would be delicious here. You could do a string cheese, you can do fresh mozzarella, you can do shredded mozzarella. Take some cheese and put them in the middle of each one like so. Okay, now you could absolutely use a lot more cheese than I am. This is just a preference thing. I just don't feel like we need that much cheese, so I'm not going with the whole thing. Now take the rest of your marinara and we're just gonna pour all over the top, and this is why I made 2 cans. That would be more like a full thingy, you know, whatever, jar. And I want extra because since I'm making noodles to go with this, we want more. Maybe. Now I'm gonna top with a little bit more of this Italian seasoning, just because it looks nice and adds good flavor. Okay, so how many ingredients do we have here? We've got sauce, peppers, Italian sausage, and the cheese. I mean, I guess you could count the peppers as 2, which would be 5. Now, this is a very optional ingredient, but we bought Parmesan cheese in bulk, so I'm going to add Parmesan to the top. It's a pretty common thing for us to buy in bulk. Italian sausage stuffed with cheese.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, stuffed and topped. Okay, now we're gonna cover this with foil. And okay, these are done, right? Yes, we used both of those. I'm gonna cover this with foil. This is going to bake at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes or so. Then we're gonna take the foil off and let it bake for a little bit longer, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just depending. And then we will, while this is in, I'm actually gonna make some green beans because again, I looked in the refrigerator and they really need to be used. And then we're gonna make some pasta to serve this over. So this base of the meal, honestly, I mean, I look at this and I'm like, okay, that's 4 ingredients or so. Obviously I added some extra things, but if you really want this to only be a 4 ingredient meal, 5 ingredient meal, you can absolutely do it that way too. I have a pot over here. I've added water so that we can get pasta boiling. I'm actually gonna use this sourdough pasta that I got from Thrive Market a while back. We're gonna try it out. We actually haven't tried it yet. I'm curious about that. And then I'm going to put these beans into this frying pan that I have. There's just a little bit of oil in there and then some bone broth. And the bone broth is gonna kind of help to steam it, but then the oil that's left over will add a little bit of a saute onto the green beans. That's typically how I make them. And I keep them pretty simple. Okay, my water is boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in pasta. And I'm just gonna do about half of that container. Just doing about half of the container because I think that was 2 boxes that I fit in there. So we'll let that boil for a couple of minutes. Let me add in the green beans and turn this on. Okay, put all those in there and I'm gonna cover it. Even though this lid doesn't fit, we're still gonna cover it because that's gonna help it steam. Oh, hello. I need to add, this is what it looks like here, Potato Slayer. So it's by Fire and Smoke Society. This has been in for about 20 minutes. So let's take off the foil and let this continue to cook maybe 10 or so more minutes. We'll see where we are. All right, so stuffed sausage, stuffed with cheese. We also have some sourdough pasta here, which I tried the sourdough pasta. It is very sourdough, okay?
Sourdough pasta.
Sourdough.
That's what, oh.
So it's made from sourdough, not just like regular flour and water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me cut me a piece here.
I got a little bit of cheese in mine. Obviously, feel free to put a lot more cheese in yours. We went a little more conservative on the cheese. Looks good though. Flavor's good. Something different for dinner. You like it?
What kind of cheese is that?
Mozzarella. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, we're always looking for creative ways to use Italian sausage because it's one of those things that it's like, who doesn't like Italian sausage?
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Just different ways to go about it. And then
I totally agree with that because when you think about it, sometimes when you've lived life long enough, there's only so many proteins that go around.
Right.
So you got to dress them up a bit to just mix it up.
Yeah. You need to try the green beans.
What's special about it?
I put that potato slayer stuff on it. That is really good.
Yes.
I'm excited to try it on potatoes.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But that is a really good flavor.
This might be good on grits too.
This is really good though. Like, I just like the change up from a normal dinner.
Yeah, I'm ready to dig in.
Our verse today comes from Matthew 7:7. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more recipes like this that are going to give you tons of encouragement and inspiration in the kitchen, check out the video that I have listed above. You're going to love this one. I'd love if you'd subscribe and stick around if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great week.